Fallout from Casey Wasserman's flirty email exchanges with convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell continues to intensify. Hi, I'm Andy, this is Fence Post Media with your latest music-related news. The punk rock band Dropkick Murphys severed ties with their booking agency, Wasserman Music, earlier this week, citing connections between the agency's founder, Casey Wasserman, and Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. This move came amid the rapidly growing wave of artist departures following the recent release of Epstein-related documents. So let's break it down. First, some essential background. On January 30, 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice released over 3 million files related to Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender who died in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. Among the documents were emails dating back to 2003 between Casey Wasserman, the 51-year-old CEO and founder of Wasserman Music, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime associate who was convicted in 2021 of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The emails were described in reports as flirtatious, including Maxwell inviting Wasserman to a party and Wasserman responding with compliments like calling her sexy. Additionally, records show Wasserman flew on Epstein's plane in 2002 as part of a humanitarian fact-finding mission to Africa focused on AIDS and organized by the Clinton Foundation, which of course includes former President Bill Clinton. Now, it's important to note that Wasserman has not been charged with any crimes, nor has really anyone else as of this time in those files in the United States. So no crimes related to Epstein or Maxwell, and no evidence in the file suggests his involvement in their criminal activities. Still, the associations have sparked significant backlash. The fallout intensified last week. On February 5, 2026, Wasserman issued the following in a public statement. I deeply regret my correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell, which took place over 2 decades ago, long before her horrific crimes came to light. I never had a personal or business relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. I am terribly sorry for having any association with either of them. Now, despite this, artists have voiced dissatisfaction, starting with Bethany Cosentino of Best Coast, who demanded Wasserman step down and rename the agency. More on that in a bit. Enter Dropkick Murphys, the Boston-based Irish-American punk band known for hits like I'm Shipping Up to Boston. Well, last weekend, February 6 to 7, 2026, the band announced their departure via Instagram stories, stating, "It saddens us to part ways with our agents, but the namesake of the agency is in the Epstein files, so we gone." The group, which signed with Wasserman years before its merger and expansion into music, emphasized their reluctance but firm stance against the association. This decision aligns with the band's history of outspoken social and political views, including anti-hate and pro-worker advocacy. Now, Dropkick Murphys aren't alone. The controversy triggered a broader exodus from Wasserman, a powerhouse agency representing literally hundreds of acts in music, sports, and entertainment. On February 9, 2026, Grammy Award-winning pop star Chappell Rowan severed her ties on Instagram, which we previously covered. Rowan became one of the highest-profile defectors. Other indie and alternative acts followed, including Wednesday, who were aghast and planned to extract themselves as it goes against their values, Beach Bunny calling the actions abhorrent and disturbing and demanding name removal, plus Chelsea Cutler, Hippocampus, Orville Peck, Sylvan Esso, and Water from Your Eyes. The list goes on. By February 9, Wasserman had removed his client list from its website, signaling mounting pressure. Now, once again, these are just the latest defect. It's also worth noting that many artists likely faced financial and legal hurdles in fully severing ties quickly, and employees who are appalled by the scandal cannot make quick shifts to new companies. Yet, the pressure continued to build. On Friday, February 13, 2026, Wasserman announced in an internal memo to staff that he has begun the process of selling the company, stating he had, quote, become a distraction due to the fallout and expressing regret. Here's a quote. I'm deeply sorry that my past personal mistakes have caused you so much discomfort. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to the clients and partners we represent so vigorously and care so deeply about. Now, he has added that President Mike Watts, who will oversee the day-to-day operations while he focuses on the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics, where he remains chairman. On the other side, Wasserman previously received support from that LA 28 Olympic board, which backed him after a review from law firm O'Melveny and Myers found his interactions, quote, did not go beyond what was already been publicly documented. Wasserman reportedly cooperated fully with that investigation. Now, in 2025, Dropkick Murphys released their album For the People, announced their 2026 St. Patrick's Day tour, and dropped the protest track Citizen Ice, a reworking of their 2005 song Citizen CIA, critiquing ICE policies. In early 2026, they debuted Citizen ICE live on tour amid discussions of immigration enforcement and the greater MAGA movement. Now, again, I'm Andy. This is Fence Post Media. Like, subscribe, follow along for some of your latest music-related news.